I think now it's on. Can you hear us?
Oh my gosh, I hope so. The little light is orange.
All of the dials are going.
It was so exciting yesterday.
forth.
You guys, there's so many different things that Robbi has to push before the show begins. And if we forget them every once in a while, it's because Robbi is a deeply flawed human being, and I am no better. Now, friends, you might think it's the week of space, but it's actually Beaver Week, which is why I'm wearing my beaver shirt.
Stop it.
What?
That is not a beaver. I'm offended.
It's a beaver in a bowler.
That you even pretend that
with
it's a bear in a bowler.
A mustache and a monocle. Everybody
All of those
knows.
things are right, except that it's not a beaver. It's a bear.
Vote. Everybody vote. In the side, vote if you think it's a bear. Vote if you think it's a beaver. But keep in mind who's picking the winner of this week's challenge when you vote.
What is this week's challenge even?
I mean,
don't think we've stated a
research challenge.
Oh.
Yes, I need Jennifer to suggest another challenge. I'm not quite capable enough to think of challenges. We had our neologism challenge. We need a new challenge. Friends, here's something sort of exciting and scary. Our printer died between printing the first agenda and the second agenda. So we have a piece of paper for the first agenda, but after that, it's uncharted territory. Who knows where we're going to go?
I mean, the other exciting thing is that the other piece of paper, it's not that the printer died, it's that the other piece of paper got jammed. And I don't know how to disassemble this particular printer.
I do know, because this used to be my printer.
It did.
However, the show must go on. We don't have time. You would just see our backside sticking up in the air if we were down there trying to figure out the printer, which is on the floor. Probably the printer's like, I don't want to be on the floor. I'm going to malfunction just to spite you guys.
The printer.
Space Week continues. Use June 2nd, 2020. Howdy. You know what I did? I went into the dictionary in my computer and I looked for synonyms for hello because I wanted to do it a different way this time. And howdy was the one that appealed to me most.
Now.
Well, what?
I hope when you looked in the dictionary for synonyms, you also looked for where howdy comes from and what it
didn't
means.
say that. Didn't say that. It just offered synonyms in my thesaurus, actually.
You said you went to the dictionary.
Well, it's the dictionary app. I went to the thesaurus screen of the dictionary app, Robbi, who's so specific all of a sudden. I didn't look at the etymology, which is the derivation, which is the origin.
Where the word comes from.
We know Batman's origin story. We don't know the origin story of howdy. Jennifer, get on it! Tell us where howdy came from.
Yes, please.
All right.
I'm interested to know.
And then tell us where duty came from and how they came to be wrapped up in the same weird puppet. Okay?
Howdy doody.
That's what I want to know. All right, Robbi, have you issued a warm howdy to our friends? Come on.
My eyes got
deep.
so
No.
tired. I don't even know if I can summon a howdy.
Don't make any excuses based on your eyes and their fatigue. We are here for our friends, and there's only one thing to say, and it's
howdy.
Now, our friend...
Yes.
Shakti thinks that perhaps howdy came from cowboys.
I am under the same impression, Shakti, and I don't really know why.
I mean, I know that cowboys say howdy in the shows. Do we trust the shows? I don't know.
Is that just something that we pretended that cowboys say?
Was Howdy Doody like a cowboy puppet?
I think he was. I think he had like a...
I think we're onto something here.
He had jeans and a little...
However, until Jennifer blesses this, I will not believe it. She is the arbiter of all things that require research. All right. Robbi
attempts to present a cogent theory of the universe.
Begin. This is Space Week. We have beside me here someone who is vaguely an expert on cosmology, which is how the universe works. Let's make sure that we get cosmology.
I thought cosmology was like makeup.
Cosmetology is makeup.
Oh.
Cosmology. Robbi, you're not
cosmetics.
You're not sounding like much of an expert right now.
I have to say, the idea that you even proposed that I were an expert.
The branch of philosophy dealing with the origin and general structure of the universe, with its parts, elements, and laws, especially with such of its characteristics as space, time, causality, and freedom. Now, does that give you a little structure from which to build your cogent essay?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. All right. How does the universe work? What is the universe? Why do things happen the way they do? Go.
Well, I think what's interesting is that everything in the universe is made up of the same stuff.
Right.
And that we can't get rid of the stuff.
Right.
The stuff just gets recycled.
Yes.
Just like the rain comes down and goes into the ground. It doesn't turn into rocks like an old ancient philosopher once believed.
No.
Which we learned at the dinner table the other day.
They thought that rocks came from rain that just went to the bottom of the ocean and got hard.
Turned into rocks.
And I'm laughing, but at one point,
why wouldn't you think that?
You got to try to figure it out somehow. All right.
So just like rain goes down and then it dries, it evaporates, and goes back up in the air and does these cycles, so do all the particles that make us up.
Yes.
So, at one point, this little particle of me might have been a giraffe in a different space and time.
It just all moves around.
How
all
crazy
the stuff.
is that?
And here's the thing that I can't understand super well, so don't ask me questions. But apparently everything started as a super dense point. All of the atoms and molecules and everything in the universe started as a little tiny bit that then exploded, and everything is now moving outward from that space, that moment of noisy origin. And that's what, remember, we were getting at entropy yesterday, and it's moving toward entropy. Everything is moving away toward entropy.
Oh, one of the things that I will show you is a video of the solar system moving through space.
Oh.
I didn't grab that for this time, but
maybe
it's
tomorrow?
Cool. I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
All
right.
Jennifer has shown up.
Like lightning.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer. Early 19th century, so that's the 1800s.
Okay.
Alteration of how,
So,
D apostrophe ye. So how do you?
How do you do?
So that's why you would say howdy.
Howdy.
Do.
Howdy.
Howdy do. Is how do you do? And then you just shorten it to howdy.
I love it. I love it. Update on Principal Schaefer. If you're wondering, she's about to have her teeth cleaned.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
right. I mean, everybody does from time to time. All right. Hi, Various Shanks.
Yes.
Hi, Everett.
It's
sorry
okay.
that you're late.
I think Amy
you
will
are
assign
forgiven.
you maybe some push-ups, Everett.
That's possible.
For being late.
All right. All right, friends. Cosmology. So, Robbi, I don't know if that counted as a cogent theory, but it was
They were all interrelated, even to the giraffe that existed in a different space and time.
I do like that. Even to the boiling mercury on the face of a planet.
Yes.
I mean, of a sun. Yeah.
Or a planet.
Yeah.
We don't.
Are there planets covered with boiling mercury?
Sure.
You think so? Somewhere?
It's
likely. Okay.
It's
all right.
Pretty much anything is likely. The universe is so big.
All right. Moving on to water. Let's do that next. Yes. Robbi.
Water's one of the important things that we're made up of.
Here you are.
Thank you.
All right. Here I am.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Prost. Kamchai.
Prost.
Kimchi.
No.
No. Pierogi. Lithuania. While Robbi is drinking, I'll remind you that you are watching the Robbi and Matthew Show, brought to you by our sponsor, Jennifer Kafka Smith, who gives us not monetary contributions, but moral courage and the facts when we need them. All right? Thank you, Jennifer, for keeping us straight, for providing the information we needed. There is no more valuable resource than knowledge in this world, my friends. All right?
I'd like to point out, congratulations, Waylon. He did 100 push-ups yesterday.
Holy cow. Now, here's my question. Did you do them all at once? Or did you 10, and then 10, and then 15, and then 5, and then 3? Did you do 100 consecutive push-ups? Because if so, my hat's off to you, friend. That is, that's why I didn't even wear a hat today.
Exactly.
It's just off to you.
It's literally off.
All right. Matthew
thinks of 6 words that...
I thought since I gave you some sort of throwaway easy challenge like describing a cogent theory of the universe, I would do something myself. Matthew thinks of 6 words that rhyme with space.
With space.
That was equally challenging. Space, race, chase. I don't want to look at your face, Robbi. Place, mace, and brace. All right, there you go. What was this? Grace?
Yes.
Oh, there's lots of words that rhyme with space.
That's a good one.
What, a good challenge?
Well, it's a good word to look for rhymes for. It's no fun to look for rhymes for a word that doesn't have any rhymes.
That's true. So, guys, a game that you can play when you're walking through the woods with your family on the weekends, if you do that sort of thing, is go through the letters of the alphabet and think of a word, and then the other people in the family or the group have to think of a word that rhymes with it. And you can decide how diabolical you want to be and how tricky a word that you want to... But it's a fun thing. We do that sometimes. All right, Matthew, good about it. What does that say? Matthew
refuses to dance.
Oh, yeah. I danced yesterday. It was great. And then Drew wrote me a text and told me to stop dancing. So
I think probably there were several other people who suggested that you stop dancing.
Well, I'm just going to say. So this is where we would have listened to the theme song. Oh. We would have been playing Drew's music. Drew's putting the clamp down on my dancing is the Robbi and Matthew Show. I just can't help but dance. When I hear Drew's dulcet tones, dancing happens.
You also...
I feel like I was manipulated by a combination of you and Drew working together.
You were. Yes, you can't keep us down, Matthew.
All right. Fair enough. I admit that I've been defeated. Matthew makes excuses for
why he did not write a story.
I mean, I know I'm supposed to write a story. Yesterday we got off onto a sort of a bad foot by doing everything wrong and having such a disaster of a show that we felt ashamed at the end of the show. Today, I'm sort of riding on that wave of shame. I didn't do my homework, which was writing a show. I mean, a story. And earlier today, sort of vaguely around breakfast, I said, Robbi, I haven't written a story. I don't really want to write a story. I don't feel like having a story. I mean, she said, you know what, Matthew? Some days you don't feel like writing a story.
This is an important lesson
All right,
for
Robbi,
you young
please.
people who are interested in writing.
Please tell the lesson.
Some days
Yeah.
you do not feel like writing, and that is okay.
Some days.
And
Yes.
it might be super important in those days, specifically to not write, to sit and listen and live and try to understand the things that are happening in life, because writing is about life. What you are doing is you are translating experience into words, and so you have to have the experiences. So sometimes you're having days where you are feeling all the feelings and you just can't put it together and write, and that is okay, because you should feel the feelings, because that's what writing's actually partly about. That's your research. That's doing your research for your writing.
I talked to a friend of mine
Yes.
who had the honor of interviewing Stephen King. He was writing a story about Stephen King. And
If you guys don't know,
Yeah.
Stephen King is an author. He writes a lot of horror stories
Right.
that are super scary. That I started one and I've never picked up another Stephen King.
super
novel again.
famous.
Very famous.
He's
written, I don't know, hundreds of books.
well, who knows? At least dozens.
Dozens, many
Scores
books.
of books.
Very thick.
So he writes. He is prolific.
He is a prolific writer.
Which means he writes a lot of things.
Yes.
They're long. They're stories. They're really interesting stories. They are a little scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, Stephen King's approach to writing is this: he writes in the morning, but then when it comes noon or the middle of his day, he eats his lunch, and then he spends all afternoon watching TV, because TV is where he gets his ideas. It's how he sort of observes the culture. It's how he sees other people's storytelling. It's how he digests things that he's learning about the world, so that the next morning he can go and make his own art. So you can't just make art without also experiencing the
Absorbing
world.
other things.
So my excuse for not making art today is
So
that
you were too busy watching TV?
I did not watch TV, but I was not feeling it. I could have forced a story out, but I didn't want to do that. I went for a run. I made Robbi an omelet.
It was so good.
I did various things. Oh, I hung out with Jasper. We watered some tomato plants. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel like writing a story about omelets and tomato plants. Who knows? The point is, I didn't write you a story. I feel slightly guilty about it because it's interfering with the regular scheduled
shouldn't have to. It's
program. But in any case, the next agenda item is Matthew tells Robbi the
Elements of drawing you would like her to create.
yes. So and what do you do? And I'm going to just show you what you're going to do.
Robbi tries. She really does.
Okay.
All right.
So instead of writing a story that Robbi will sketch from, I'm going to describe an illustration that I would like, vaguely speaking, and then I want you to take your interpretive illustrator lens and create something out of what I'm roughly describing, which is what I would be doing in a story, but I'm going to make it up out of thin air. I'm just going to...
I like how I was fully supportive of your lack of interest in writing this morning.
Oh, do you have a lack of interest in drawing?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I'm happy
because
to
if you
draw.
did, then I would just say you and I could juggle for 15
Yes,
minutes,
yeah.
or we could do push-ups, or we could not dance and dance. I mean, there's different ways of going about this, but that is what the agenda says, and I kind of feel like we should follow the agenda, if you know what I mean.
Yes, it's very convenient that you were able to write the agenda after not having written your story.
It is very helpful to be able
to be the agenda writer.
It is, yeah.
Another important lesson.
Yes.
If you can,
Be the person who
become
writes
the
the
person
agenda.
who writes the agenda.
Yes.
Because then you get to decide the stuff that happens. So today in
Yes.
Maryland
Yes.
is the day that our mail-in voting needs to happen.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so voting is one way of getting to write the agenda.
That's right. You can put the people in office whose policies you believe in, whose leadership you believe
They're
in.
the people who write the agendas. All
right.
of the laws in our country are like big, giant agendas.
Right. If you don't write the agenda yourself,
Yes.
make sure you are putting your support behind someone who writes the agenda that you would like to have written.
Yes.
All right. Robbi, I would like
So
you...
I have to say, I did not actually vote for Matthew to write the agenda.
Oh. You
I just
know what
lazily
you did?
allowed
You abdicated
the agenda.
responsibility.
Yes, I did.
So, do you know what Robbi did? what Robbi did is the equivalent of not voting.
I did.
She said, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to write the agenda, thus creating a vacuum that Matthew had to fill.
Matthew just wrought his power all over the agenda.
Because Matthew is so obsessed with order that if no agenda exists, he will create one. She's actually manipulating me into doing the work.
Oh.
But in so doing, she is
I'm
abdicating.
giving up my power.
Yeah, so there you go. It's a tricky slope, you guys.
This is
actually
lesson.
a powerful lesson for life. All right, I hope you guys are all taking this in.
I hope you're taking notes because most of you are talking about how you want us to actually juggle. So there we go.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can juggle something.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently Waylon can juggle with 2 balls. All right.
Oh.
All right.
Well.
What are you going to try to juggle, Robbi?
You're
going to try to juggle.
I have a tiny bottle of
hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
Wow, that's. Oh, look. How about who wants Robbi to juggle these 3-pound weights?
No.
All right.
I have a hair clip.
Oh, ow! Ah!
Oh, this is a terrible idea, Matthew. I would like you to stop right now.
I'm going to try one more time.
Nope. No.
I did
Matthew.
it. I did it.
Stop. No. Stop right now. Seriously. This is how Matthew breaks all of my computer equipment that is over here.
I did it once.
And
you saw me. I did it once.
That's enough.
Can I do it one more time?
No.
Just once.
Why are you tempting fate?
Because I just want to show these guys.
No, they can play. They can just. You guys just rewind and watch Matthew do it again.
Now Robbi is not abdicating responsibility.
I'm
She's
not.
taking responsibility.
I'm protecting my things.
I am no longer the one who's writing my own agenda. It's because I didn't put this on the agenda.
That's right.
If I had put juggle 3-pound weights on the agenda, I'd get to do it right now, but I forgot to put it on the agenda. Ugh. All right, Robbi.
I'm going to try to juggle these 3 things.
Okay.
A tiny, it was a keychain of the turtle.
All right.
A hair clip, and a bottle of hand sanitizer. They all weigh different things, so I suspect I'm going to do very poorly.
I think this is going to be an utter disaster. Why do you get to juggle and I don't? Ah! That was much better than I thought you were going to do. I'm very impressed. She kind of juggled for a second, you guys. Let's quit while you're ahead. That was a really nice idea. Congratulations, Robbi.
Yeah, but real juggling is with 3 balls. Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Waylon.
Fair
I did
enough.
not have them at my disposal because juggling was not on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robbi. Maybe I'll put it on there for tomorrow. I'm going to put juggling with 5-pound weights on for tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've got some in the other
Are
room.
those... Wait, what are those?
3.
Oh, okay.
This is as heavy as I would want to juggle.
I thought that was an M all this time.
No.
I thought it was for muscles.
You thought it was a W for Wikipedia?
No, I thought it was an M for muscles.
No, it's a 3 for 3 pounds, Robbi.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Yes? Yes, proceed.
We were doing something according to the agenda
You
before
were
I got
going to
sidetracked by
draw
juggling.
while I tell you what I want you to draw.
Okay.
Now, do you want me to tell you what I want you to draw while we're looking at our friends? And then bring this screen up, or do you want to bring the screen up?
I think I'll bring the screen up.
So if you're struck with inspiration, you can immediately stop. You can immediately start scrabbling. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Howdy, Robbi. I'm not going to let you point out. I'm not going to let you. I'm going to every time I'm going to cut you off.
I need to make a button on my monkey buttons pad.
Yeah, you do, but you haven't yet. So you have no button to push. So you
that points out when Matthew makes a silent burp.
We can either cancel the hydration portion of this show, or silent burping is going to happen. It's a natural byproduct of drinking water quickly. All right. All right. Please, Robbi.
So many things on my desk.
All right.
Okay,
Yes.
so here we go.
All right.
We're going to be down here.
Yes.
All right, Matthew, what is it that you... Oops, uh-oh.
All right. The theme is space.
The theme is space.
So
okay.
I want you to draw an astronaut, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
A cosmonaut, or a spaceman in space.
Okay.
I want him to, or her, I want this person to have some sort of jetpack on. Because jetpacks are cool. All right? This person is maybe even not zooming through space, but maybe moving gently through space.
Ah.
All right?
Okay.
Enjoying space. Instead of going from here to there, this person is taking in the gorgeous surround of the great vacuum that is space.
Okay.
I want, for point of reference, for there to be some sort of a distant star in the background that is big. And I also want lots of speckles. So I want the background to be black.
Oh, okay.
All right? And I want there to be lots of little speckly stars. But in the foreground, in one of the corners, I want there to be a planet of some size, so that maybe the dominant elements. There's 3 dominant elements against the blackness. One is this star that's a ways off. One is the astronaut, and one is the planet in the foreground. Okay.
Wait. Say that again.
There's a faraway star that's small. We know it's massive because it's a star.
Okay.
then there's a pretty big planet in the foreground.
Okay.
And then there's the astronaut. And I don't know if I don't know if I want the astronaut to have facial features. Like, I don't know if I want it to be like an identifiable person, or if the helmet is covering up the face. So, you know what I mean? I don't know if it'll mean more if you can identify with the character by seeing its face, or if it's better that it just look like a human figure.
Okay.
I feel the latter, probably. But I'll leave that to you.
It should not look like a person.
I don't think so, because I don't want it to be about how the person... Yeah, I already like it better, not having a face. But, again, I'm going to defer to you on that.
No.
I think it's more about saying there's a person in this setting, and I would like the setting to determine how we think the person feels, or how the viewer feels, rather than looking at the person's expression and trying to like get clues about how to feel. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Okay. So, ooh, I like that. I already like this, Robbi. I think you've done a good job, and I'm glad I didn't write a story. If you guys have any other ideas or thoughts, I'm not saying Robbi's going to do them, because she's very difficult. But if you're welcome to write them in the sidebar. Do you guys like this thing I've described? Are there any things that you'd like to add to my description? Please tell us.
So this is just a sketch, guys. I think that I would maybe do this in... you can do gouache on black paper.
Ooh.
So this might kind of be a fun experiment to show you guys.
Now you can't do watercolor on black paper, right? Because it's just not transparent. It's not opaque
you'd
enough.
have to work really hard for.
You'd have to put down
lots
of layers.
Put down lots of layers.
In which case, it's probably just not the right paint for the medium, right?
So you said you wanted there to be a planet in the foreground. So maybe this is too big, huh?
But you know what? If in the context of discovering what this picture is, you need to change the scale, that's fine.
Okay, well...
Or maybe the planet is a bad idea. Maybe it's like more vast if you don't have the planet. Maybe having the planet there makes him look the character look too close to something, and it would be cooler if the person was just out in the middle of nowhere. I kind of like it better in the void.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because the second you put a planet there, then it's about scale and relationship and proximity. So, I don't know. Oh, Thomas says you could put a nebula in the background.
Oh, yeah. What's a nebula?
We need to see a picture of a nebula.
What's a nebula?
Could someone find a good nebula picture and send it to us? Or do you want to look for your own nebula, Robbi? Oh, and Abby says floating donuts.
Oh.
That is an idea. Ooh, nebula is a tangled...
Nebula looks like a very difficult thing to draw.
I'm not sure a nebula would work with Robbi's style in this particular case, which is to be very simplified. I do want you to put lots of stars.
Those are cool.
They are cool. I'm afraid the nebula itself would be a little distracting in this particular composition. I think what I'm excited about, from my art directing standpoint, is like a really rich black background.
Yeah.
And then just little punctuations of the stars around this character.
Okay.
But is that enough? Like, does there need to be some sort of anchoring planet or something to give it compositional balance? Like, tell me what you think about that. I like what's happening here. Is that fun?
No, I'm getting impatient.
Oh, you already want them to be everywhere?
I already want them to be everywhere.
Is there some tool you can use that just scatters them all around? Because this is a sketch. You wouldn't do that for the final, right? Oh, and see, Robbi twisted them so that the pattern wouldn't look like it was repeating. You're a good cheater, Robbi. I'm impressed with you. Look at this. It's like Robbi created a rubber stamp, you guys, of stars, right?
Yeah.
And she's just twisting it around so that the stars don't look like they're repeating in a predictable way. Yeah. I love it. Good work. Now, why is there a big gap right there?
Wait, because I just haven't filled that spot yet.
See how impatient I am?
Calm yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that for me, I thought Robbi was like creating... I thought maybe that was a black hole.
Now, I'm not going to see this one very bright one. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to include that one because
it's too conspicuous?
It's too conspicuous. It would look... It's too obvious.
I love what you just did. That's so cool. Now it looks like space. You're already sort of... Oh, but at a certain point, you're going to have to paint all those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not excited about that.
And then you'll be angry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so...
Oh, I really like that. But is that enough? Like, should it... I mean, I like the emptiness of it.
I do, too. I wonder if the planet should maybe be bigger?
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh...
Should I
That's okay.
turn that off? Okay. Yeah, I'm torn. I think the planet is important, isn't it? Has a completely different feel. Take the planet away, and we'll have a look at it. Or you could have a planet down here that's still pretty far away.
Okay,
right? You
so let's do a small planet.
The whole planet, right? It could be an earthy-looking planet. So we can get a sense of just how far away this character is from that planet.
Well, obviously there wouldn't be stars in front of that planet.
Are you sure? All right,
yes.
There we go. No, I know, I was kidding.
Oh.
All right. It's funny, because we are looking at the figure and the figure is kind of looking toward us, the figure is not actually looking at that planet, right? We'd have to be looking over the figure's shoulder to make it look like the figure was looking at the planet. So the figure is looking away from the planet. Do we have like a little space station or something? Or is that too... I think that takes away from what's sort of lovely and poetic about this. What do you as the illustrator feel about adding... Oh, is that the moon?
Well, I was going to make it the moon, but it's too big.
It is? What is the size of the moon in relation to the Earth? Well, we've got to get that ratio right.
I think it's much smaller.
Let me see.
Make the astronaut gray. Oh, good call there. Got to fill that guy in, right?
What is the size ratio between the moon and the Earth? 1 to 4. So you actually need to make the moon bigger. There's a picture that shows the size of the moon in relation to the Earth.
I had no idea. Okay, let's see. There we've got our astronaut. And we'll make him gray.
I mean, the funny thing is, even though it says a fourth, it's tiny. It's in terms of mass, it's considerably smaller. It's a fourth of the diameter.
Oh, yeah.
But when you do like the mass equation, it's tons tall. So you're actually not that far off. You need to make it just a tiny little bit bigger. Oh, good. Yeah, the astronaut. It's important to know what the astronaut's going to look like in terms of knowing whether other elements are necessary.
Don't astronauts have, like, some kind of credentials on their shirts?
They do. I think their suits are usually a little bulkier than that. That's a little slim for an astronaut suit.
Hey, those new astronaut suits were rather well-fitting, weren't they?
I agree. I don't know they were quite that slim, but you can do what you want.
Okay.
Okay. So what do we think? Do we like the planet or not, Robbi? That's the question. Is the planet helping?
Augie likes the Earth drawing. Thank you, Augie.
You
know what? I got a lot of practice drawing the Earth.
When?
What did I have to draw the Earth for in color?
I don't know.
I was delighted with how well it turned out.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't in color. It was in the cookie book. Why did I have to draw the planet Earth?
I don't know.
Anyway, I did a good job, so I have had some practice.
All right, nice work.
But I wonder if we should do like some other planets or something.
Yeah. I can't tell if I like
I like any planets.
Anything.
I know.
I think
kind
just
of like
the blackness is
the big piece of spaces.
Sometimes, have you guys heard the phrase "less is more"? Sometimes the more that you add to see, I think it's getting junky, Robbi.
Yeah, it's starting to look too cute.
Yeah, I agree. It's really difficult to know the right balance of elements. I think it's the most elegant with nothing else.
With nothing else.
Yeah. Or maybe just the moon as a crescent, like something really subtle.
Right, okay.
Right?
So...
So I love that little crescent moon. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. And you'd have to really get it.
I'd have to get it perfect.
Yeah.
That looks backwards to me.
Yeah, you want to put it the other way?
But for some reason, I think of the person...
You know why else I like it? It's because the moon is cold and white.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like it was a little bit much to have the Earth with all of its colors. The moon. And where is this person if he's that far away from the moon looking down at the moon? That's what I love too. Where is he? Sort of lost out in the emptiness of things, not near to anything. Uh-oh. It's time to start the next show, Robbi.
It is. Oh my goodness.
That to me is starting to look like a vessel. Like I think the moon has to be
not turned over that much.
Yeah, that's my. I liked the original moon you had where it was going down like that. I'm just like, that looks like a fingernail to me.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it does. It does. It looks like a fingernail. I think it's going to be tricky. Robbi's going to have to work really hard to figure out how to suggest that it's the moon without showing too much of the moon. Friends, go over to the other place.
Yes.
We will continue this program
See you shortly.
with no agenda. Ah!
Oh no, I got to get it out of the printer.
We're just gonna wing it. We're gonna wing it. We're gonna start by reading the Romokois. We're gonna read some space jokes. Wait, why am I blowing the surprise? Go over there, guys.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.